right here on the Muskegon Channel. Andy O'Reilly, Dave Cackley. It is a Tuesday. It is the day after the big game, and yes, the U of M should have probably punched their ticket to the Golden Road Championship, but it wasn't to happen, and, well, that's life.
Nope. And you know what? This is the first time, I can't remember the last time I didn't see a single second of the game.
Really?
Didn't watch any of it. Caught the eye. I woke up at about 11, a little before 11, and checked the score on my phone, and I was like, sweet, Villanova's up 15, and then went back to sleep.
Cindy was downstairs in the kitchen, and she had it on down there for a little while,
Yeah.
and I peeked in on it, but I don't like basketball. I don't.
That's fine.
So for me to all be, all wrapped up in the game, I just can't.
I think it must be a child. It was a bad childhood memory for you or something where you were bad at it, and I was mediocre, but I still have loved the game. Max loves it, absolutely loves it. But if you're a Michigan fan, though, this team overachieved. They had 20 win talent. They won 33 games. As big a Michigan State fan, as much as I want to bash the Wolverines, Michigan State went out in round 2. They had more talent, as much talent as anybody in the country, and Michigan did.
Yeah.
Michigan made it to the Final Four, made it to the championship game. Granted, they lucked out because a lot of the teams in their region got knocked off, so they were playing like 6 seeds and 8 seeds, and had to play Loyola Chicago in the Final Four. But hey, give them credit. They beat who was in front of them, and they just lost to a team that was better.
Yeah. Well,
there you go.
That's life.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I would imagine other news elements and interesting things happened.
Yes.
Hang on.
What? You're right. Okay. There you go. Feign interest. Good for you. President Trump demanding Congress pass new border legislation. He's even considering using the nuclear option if necessary to get a bill through the Senate. Now, the nuclear option would change Senate rules to end a filibuster. The $1.3 trillion budget did include over $1 billion for a border wall, but much of that money would go to simply repairing existing segments, not building new sections. This is one of those things. If you do this, and you're a Republican, Democrats can be able to do the same thing. It's not necessarily an avenue you want to go down. Trump's dealing with a lot of the same stuff Obama dealt with as far as opposition. Obama used executive orders. He couldn't really get anything through. We'll see what Trump does here. I don't like the idea of going with a nuclear option. I don't think that's a smart move, but who knows? He campaigned on a border wall, so I think that's what he's in his mind thinking. I got to get this thing built, and whatever it takes to get the money to do it, we're gonna do it. So we'll see.
It's just such gridlock at that level. It really
absolutely.
It's just it's just ridiculous.
Everybody's picked their teams.
I
you're
know.
You're either on Team CNN or you're on Team Fox, and that's what it is.
What can anybody do to get people back to the middle and bring a little common sense back to stuff?
The middle doesn't make any noise, though. That's the problem. It's the outrage machine on the left and the right that gets all the clicks, and that gets all the interest.
Some of us are trying.
Yeah,
Some of us are already feeling like Ziggy standing at the door going, hello, over here.
What's going on?
How about just some middle ground?
Yeah. The middle ground, I don't know. The middle ground has almost been obliterated. It's like it's in I've seen this, like I said, in both camps, where if you're not for us, if you don't agree in lockstep with everything we want or we think, you're the enemy. No. You see it played out on the left. You see it played out on the right.
And I've said that 100 times. And it's foolish thinking.
No, nobody has the moral high ground. Nobody is 100% correct. And shake my head, live my life, and move on. That's pretty much what everybody should do. Survivors of the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, returned to school after spring break on Monday, facing enhanced security measures. Students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas dealt with security barriers and bag check lines. As they entered campus, administrators also handed out the newest mandatory accessory, see-through backpacks. Students are also required to wear an ID badge at all times. I mean, is this probably an overcorrection? Yeah, based on how often this stuff happens. I mean, you have a mass shooting, the knee-jerk reaction is, we got to do whatever it takes to stop another shooting, which probably won't happen anyway, but we're gonna,
I watch a lot of on-demand television, right?
Yeah.
So on Amazon Prime right now, you can get a documentary series at the Smithsonian Channel. We talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, I think. It's called America in Color. And what they did was they took a bunch of old news footage and things like that and colorized it. And it's remember I told you that Liev Schreiber narrates it, and it's magnificent. And if you go back to the 20s up till now, and you really watch our history and stuff like that, and I'm not saying that these school shootings are the status quo or anything like that, but the level of domestic terrorism in the United States that has been going on that we just seem to forget about over the years, it's really been a problem here for quite some time. I mean, one of the first things they talk about in this documentary series called America in Color was the early 20s, and a guy pulls up on Wall Street with a horse-drawn carriage filled with explosives and blows this friggin' horse-drawn carriage up right in the middle of Wall Street, kills 100-some-odd people, injures another 80-some-odd, and this kind of domestic terrorism just keeps playing out over and over and over again in our country, and we've got such short-term memory anymore that we forget that this stuff, it ain't new.
No, it's not
it's
new.
taken a newer and scarier turn because it seems to be happening to our younger people, and it seems to be happening in these big, softer targets and things like that. But we've been dealing with this for a long, long time, and where is this coming from?
I think part of the problem too is we can't comprehend math for some reason when it comes to these incidents. As horrific as they are, once again, I don't mean to be continually beating this drum, but your kid's 10 times more likely to die riding his bike or walking to school than he is getting shot by some crazy lunatic.
But what I'm getting at is I'm not getting at modern statistics or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just saying that these horrific incidents and these things that continue to plague our society, they keep redefining themselves and playing out over and over. But this is not a new problem in America. These horrific situations, it's been going on for a long, long time.
It's still 24-hour news cycle fear mongering is basically what it is, because
granted,
once again, it's a math problem. These aren't real. When it comes to everyday issues that people have, I'm not worried about my son's safety at school, and he's not either, and he shouldn't be. If your kid's going to school, odds are he's going to be fine.
Right.
It's a math problem that people don't understand. Statistically, it's basically a zero chance that it's going to happen.
I think you're missing my point.
Which is?
We see more and more of it now because of the 24/7 news cycle and all that kind of stuff. But we also tend to forget things so quickly that, this is our immediate problem. We got to, this is the immediate issue and all this other kind of stuff. Look at the deeper side of this thing. These kind of domestic, awful terror type things are not new. These have been going on for quite some time. And the cycle keeps repeating itself, but just redefining the targets and why they're happening and the causes. This America's great. I love it. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. But we keep seeming to have this issue of domestic terrorism and things to keep us scared for a long, long time now.
But bottom line, I get exactly what you're saying. But bottom line, are you really scared? I mean, do you wake up in fear? Do you fear for your grandkids? You don't fear for your grandkids. I don't fear for my son going to school.
No, but I'm just simply saying, take a look at history and realize that this is just not new. What's going
Fair
on
enough.
in the targets seem to have changed because it seems to be a little more scary that it's our young people that seem to be targeted right now. And it seems to be scarier, too, because it's our young people that seem to be snapping.
Yes,
and doing
that's a
these
very
things.
good point.
That's scary.
That's a good point.
These kind of attacks, this ain't new stuff in the United States.
No.
This has been going on for a while. We just seem to forget quick.
I think your point about it happening to young people and the fact that they're the ones snapping, that's a really good point. I would disagree with you on this one issue. I don't think we forget them. I don't think it's because the Parkland shooting that happened February 14th, that's been every single day, every single minute. The marches,
right.
The kids speaking out all the time, whether you agree or disagree.
In 10 years from now, will it be remembered the way 9/11 was remembered?
I don't know. I think it might, because I think the Columbine shooting that was brought up in along with this too.
Yeah.
And people started talking about this. Goes back to Columbine, which was 1999. I vividly remember that. That was we're going back almost 20 years with that. So I think
I'm just saying, people ought to do a little bit better watching history and seeing that this stuff just isn't. It ain't new. It's just redefining itself.
Well said. All right. Of course, the big story. We kind of touched on this early. Michigan going down to Villanova 79-62 in the national championship game. This was pretty much no contest. But once again, if you're a Michigan fan, you ran into a better team. You ran into a bench guy who scored 31 points, which has never happened in the history of the national championship game. So Villanova was the better team. Michigan overachieved. They had basically three guys who could play, and they managed to get to the championship game. So a school record 33 wins. John Beilein, to me, coach of the year in college basketball. But they go down 79-62. Michigan State, still the last Big Ten team to win a national championship. Michigan last one back in 1989. Tigers, though, they get their first win of the season, 6-1 over the Royals. So they're not going to go 0-1, 62. Will they ever be above 500 this year?
I have no idea.
That's it, because they're 1-2 right now. Can they string together 3 wins? Can they win 2 more to be? They're 1-3. Wait, I thought they were because their first game
doubleheader
got
on
postponed.
Sunday.
Oh, they lost both games in the doubleheader?
Yep.
Okay, I stand corrected. I sit corrected. Very good. You just go to town on that bell. All right, yeah. All right. Cubs lose. They fall to Cincinnati 1-0. God, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I do like that baseball's back. It's nice. You can sleep through half the games, and it's relaxing.
Makes you feel like
that's why they call it our pastime.
There you have it. Dave Cackley, enjoy your Tuesday. We'll talk to you back here tomorrow.
See ya.